Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to part 13 of the Sea of Stars walkthrough. We just got done talking to the Oracle of Tides and he told us that we need to go into the Tower of Ansudo, so let's do that right now. Starting off, we're going to be on pretty much just a straight track going north. As you swim along the path, you'll notice that there's going to be a portal over on your left side. Just ignore that for right now, we'll come back to it in just a second. Instead, keep going up and you can interact with this seashell thing up here. That's actually a key that we need. So now let's go back south and we can interact with a pedestal right next to the portal. We'll put the key in there and then that will allow us to go very quickly over to the next area here. Over here, there's a new enemy that we can fight. If you get into a fight with one of them, you actually have to fight two at the same time. This is called a Shark Sinul, and it has a couple different forms. Right now, it's in its normal form where we can do damage to it, but it also can do a couple more interesting things. When it's its turn to attack, then it will turn into a giant axe. Wait a little bit longer than you think you need to before you block, because it does hesitate a moment before the swing comes down, and then it can also turn into a shield form where it's not going to take damage from our attacks. So if that's the case, just focus on the other one at that time, try to get them down one by one, and we'll be able to take them out really without too much of an issue. Just be prepared for some high damage attacks coming in from that axe swing. When it's in shield mode, you can still damage it with your skills, so feel free to do that, and you can do some pretty good damage. You can see it didn't do a whole lot even with a boosted regular attack. However, if you use something like Venom Flurry, you'll do a whole lot more damage to it. So just focus on using skills when it's in shield form and regular attacks when it's in its normal form, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem with this enemy. After that fight, let's keep going north along the path, and you can go into this portal that will shoot you over to the side, then follow the path down and to the right, and then keep going around the bend up to another portal that will shoot you up and to the left. If you go straight north from here, you'll see that there's a couple enemies. Make sure that your health is filled up because you don't want to be ambushed by these enemies and be in a bad spot. These guys are kind of tricky, so let's get into a fight with them and see what they can do. These are called Shrimp Knight. They're not too tough on their own, but they have a very interesting ability. When it's their turn to attack after they have charged up, what they are going to do is actually go over and clone one of your characters. So you can see that it is now going to clone Valere, and that will make an enemy bubble version of her, and she can do her normal attack. So now we're getting a clone of Sarai, and we now have 4 enemies to face instead of the original 2. I would recommend focusing on the Shrimp Knights themselves because the clones themselves aren't too terrible, but you want to get rid of the thing that can create more clones and that can stop you from having to fight endless numbers of enemies. So just work on those Shrimp Knights, use your area of attack skills, and that will mean that they will die pretty quickly for you and you don't have to worry about them too much. So not a terrible fight, just an interesting one, and we'll be dealing with these Shrimp Knights more and more as the video goes on. After the fight, let's go up and to the left. There's a small path going that direction. If you go all the way to the end, there's another sapphire key waiting for you. Go ahead, pick that up, and then go back toward the bell, ring it with the coral hammer, and that will activate the first half of the door. When we activate both halves of the door, then it will open and we can proceed. Let's go back past the door over toward the right side. We can activate the portal over here using that new sapphire key, and that will shoot us over here. Grabbing the treasure chest at the bottom part will give us a sapphire ore. Then go up and ring the bell with the coral hammer on this side. That will activate the second half of the door, and now we can go inside the tower itself. Let's go back to the little portal thing, shoot across, and now go up and into the Tower of Ansudo itself. When you get inside, turn the little valve, and that will lower the water level. This whole place is just a big puzzle with different water levels and things, but I'll guide you through the whole thing. When you get inside, you can rest and cook if you need to at the campsite. There's also a very convenient save point for you to use right here, so let's go ahead and use that. There's also some shrimp cooking ingredients on the right side if you want to grab those, and then go through the center door. Here you can see some more enemies. There's a shrimp knight and a new enemy that we can encounter that is very interesting. The new enemy is called a Gugoon, and it has 12 HP, and we do 5 damage per attack to it. It's really just like a set amount for us, so it'll take about 3 attacks to be able to eliminate that thing. And we have another one of those shrimp knights to deal with too, so try to interrupt it from using a clone, and then take it out, and then just work on the Gugoons, take them out in 3 normal attacks, and you can proceed. They do have a couple attacks that they can use. They can either throw up a spiky ball that lands on you, or come in and do a double punch against you, and you have to block that one 2 times in order to negate the damage from that one. So 2 punches coming in, just try to block those in a row, and then you can continue on with just beating these things down, and they shouldn't be too hard for you to annihilate, and then we can move on. Now the tower is basically a big elevator up top, and then there's rooms over on the left and the right side. Let's go over on the left side first, go into the center room and turn the valve to adjust the water level. Now we can go over on this side. Start by going up, and then you can hop down to the lower area, then climb up this ladder, and you can grab the pink orb at the top here. That will cause the water level to lower. Now we can hop down and then flip the switch that will open up a gate on the lower side of things. So now let's go through here, and then we can go over toward the left side, climb up the big ladder, and we can put the orb up into this holder over here. So the pink pearl goes there, and that causes the water level to go up again. Now let's go into the water and swim down and over toward the right side. That will allow us to reach this ladder where we can climb up. Now follow the path around. You'll see a couple enemies around here. Let's go ahead and fight these guys off. And we've seen these guys before, so I'm just going to skip this fight and continue on. After the fight, head down to the bottom of this area. You can flip a switch that will lower some bars over on the top part. Now we can go up there and up the ladder, and we can grab our pink pearl and then exit the way that we came. So now we'll head down the ladder and then back the way we came over the bridge and back to the center room with the big elevator. Make sure you flip the valve so that the water level changes, and you can go back to the center area. Just skip the elevator for now. Let's head over toward the right side and go into this room. We'll flip the valve once again to adjust the water level, and then go into the right room. Walk along the path until you get to about the middle. You can hop into the water and then swim over toward the ladder. Then just start climbing up until you get all the way to the top of this area. Go toward the right side first and then hop down. That will allow you to flip a switch, and that will adjust the gate in the bottom part, so now we can exit through there a little bit later on. Jump back into the water and climb all the way back up to the top. But this time, instead of going to the right, let's go all the way toward the left side and then hop down so that we can grab the yellow pearl from this side. Now hop down into the water and run around. You can grab a couple of shrimp if you want to. Go through that gate that we opened up and fight off the shrimp knights. This is, again, a repeat fight, so I'm just going to skip it, and then we can continue on. At this point, I did level up. We're going to focus mainly on our offensive skills at this point, so I'm going to be using a little bit of magic attack on Zale, and Valere and everyone else will get physical attack. There's some more shrimp hiding in the corner up here if you want to grab that. Then just go up the ladder and over toward the left side. We're going to go back toward the center room with the elevator, and then we can proceed up to the next floor. So we have both pearls. Go around and interact with the pedestals on the right and the left side. You can put the yellow pearl and the pink pearl there, and then interact with the button in the middle that will raise the water level up and take you up here. So now go over toward the right side first, and we're going to go up the ladder and then over toward the right room. We don't have to adjust the water levels here, but we're able to go around and follow this path. Now there's a couple things here that is part of a puzzle. Don't worry about that just yet. I'll show you what to do. Hop into the water and then go over toward the right side, climb up the big ladder, and flip the valve up here. That's going to extend a platform from one side of the room up to the middle part. So we're going to use that as a walkway pretty soon. Now let's go over toward the top part of the area, flipping another valve over here. That's going to make another pathway go out, and that will allow us to get the treasure chest over on the bottom right side of the area. Let's hop into the water, and now we can swim down and around toward the bottom section here, and we can go up the ladder. You can see a couple of those goo goons hiding out waiting for us. We'll fight them in a little bit. So go over toward the left side. You can go across the bridge and climb up and jump over to flip this valve, and that will adjust the room once again to have a platform going all the way across. So now that we have all three of those things, we get these little starfish looking things that pop up. We'll deal with those in just a second, but first let's go get that treasure chest from the opposite side of the room. So we'll just hop over there and interact with this treasure chest. We get a thalassic cloak. That's a new thing for Sarai to wear. Let's go back to the middle part and solve the puzzle with the starfish. Each starfish is its own little control device that changes the platforms in the center area. So you can see as you adjust it, it moves the platforms up and down. What you want to do is get the red bar on them to line up exactly with the water level. So just adjust them a couple times until that red line is flat across the surface of the water, and that will give us access to the green pearl. So let's go ahead and grab that one, and then we can move on from here. It does change the water level all the way around, as well as raise up these platforms that we'll need in a little bit. If you hop down and go all the way up to the top part here, you can grab a couple shrimp and then fight off one of these enemies that we've seen before. So I'll just skip that fight and then we can continue on. We're then going to go over to the bottom section here and fight off those Goo Goon enemies. Again, they only take 5 damage per attack and they've got 12 HP, so 3 regular attacks should be enough to take them down. Now let's go up the nearby ladder and then over to the center area once again. Okay, now we can run across the platforms. You can use the grapploo to hop across to the other side and then go into this area on the left. So what we want to do here is jump down onto the platform and then use the Mistral bracelet to move the propeller that will push the platform around and also lower some gates. Now what we want to do is use the power of the wind to push the platform that we're standing on all the way around this area. We're going to start by going to the bottom right section first that has another propeller that we can blow, and that will change some gates. Then just go all the way to the left side, blow this propeller, and that will lower the gates near us. Now let's head up the section past where those gates were, and we'll go all the way to the top right corner of this area. Once you get up here, climb out and then up the ladder, flip the switch, and that's going to lower some gates, allowing us to get access to that pearl over there. It may seem like you can just swim over there and climb up, but you actually can't. That's a little bit above the water level. So get on your platform and then blow it around to where you can hop up onto the ledge, then climb up the rock wall, grab the purple pearl that will cause the water level to sink. Now we do have to get a treasure chest in the top left corner. All you got to do is run down here, flip the switch that lowers the bars of the gate, and it also lowers the platform, allowing us to hop onto it and then just climb up the rock wall. So climb up the rock wall, go over toward the left side, pick up the chest, and we'll move on. So we get a phosphorite lid. That's a new weapon for Garl. Go ahead, throw that thing on, and then we will go back down the rock wall and just go run around the bottom part of this area here. There are a couple of shrimps that you can pick up if you want to on the right side. Go ahead and do that, and then go up the rock wall here, and then over toward the left. You can use the grapple to get back across this gap, and now we're going to go back to the elevator, place the pearls into the pedestals on the left and the right side, and then you can interact with the switch on the right to raise the water level one more time, going all the way up to the top floor here. So once you're here, let's head over toward the left side. This is actually a combined puzzle between the left side and the right sides of the room. So if you go to the left side first, you can run around. When you're in the left room, run around the bottom path, and then you can go into this big blue doorway that will transport you through the water pipe, and it will dump you out over in the right room. Beneath us is a rainbow conch. We'll get to that in just a little bit, so don't worry about that right now. Instead, hop up onto the ledge, and then there's going to be a couple enemies to fight. Just make sure that everyone has a good amount of health, because this is a little bit of a tough fight if you're not prepared for it. So here we have some familiar enemies once again. Let's take them out and then continue on. After the fight, you can grab the big red valve from the bottom of this area, and then go up and to the left side. You can get back into the water pipe, and that will take you back toward the left room. Once you're here, go put the valve in the hole on the left side, and then you can turn it. That will switch that pipe out for a pipe that gets you a little bit higher up in the room. We're going to go into the pipe once again and be transported over to the right room. Alright, we're a little bit higher up now. Let's hop out and flip the switch. That's going to lower some gates below us. If you jump down there, then you can go up and grab the pearl. That will cause the water level to drop. Unfortunately, we can't get out when the water level's low, but we can grab the valve from the bottom part. You can also go around and pick up some extra shrimp hanging out around here, and then get back down into the bottom part and go and put the pearl back where it belongs to raise the water level back up. So we can't leave with the pearl just yet, but we do have the valve, and that's going to help us out for the next part. So let's go back into the water pipe and go over toward the left room. Once you're here, hop on out and then put the valve key over on the right side, and then twist it so that we now can go all the way to the top part of the right room. Hop back into the water pipe and go over to the right room, and it will spit us out on the top part of the room. Okay, once you're up here, there are some shrimp that you can get from the clamshell. I don't know how it works that way. I guess it's seafood, not really shrimp. But then hop down into the water and flip the switch on the right side. That will lower the gate in the bottom part. So now what we can do is go and get the pearl to lower the water level, and now we can escape out our new gate that we just opened up. So once we have the pearl, go down the ladder and then go through this little gateway and into the middle room. So you might think, well, we've got the pearl, now we can proceed on. And you might be right, but we do want to do something first. So let's lower this ladder and then go over toward the left side room again. We're going to go into this valve room on the left, and we're going to manipulate it so that we can get the rainbow conch that we first encountered around here. Climb up the ladder, and now you want to flip both of the valves, and that will allow us to go back to the first part of the room. So they both have to be in the up position, and then get back into the pipe, and that will spit us back out right into where we can get the rainbow conch. Now that we have the pearl, the water level has been lowered enough so that we can actually grab it from the ground floor. So go ahead, grab the rainbow conch from its chest, and then you can flip the switch to lower the gate, and now we just have to run back out and around the way that we did just a few moments ago. When you're back in the central elevator room, go up and put the blue pearl into the pedestal. That's going to activate the pathway going up on the next level. To get there, all you have to do is go over toward the right side. There's going to be a ladder here. Climb up the ladder, and then you can get into the doorway that will lead you up the pipe and into the top part of this area. Okay, from here you can use the save point, so go ahead and do that if you wish. And then go interact with the door. The energy from this door feels odd. I bet the big mystery we're supposed to find is right behind it. No handles. Can't push it open either. And it's not resonating with our innate magic. Maybe we're just supposed to knock. Their efforts in the tower proved valiant, but alas, as fate would have it, when these events first occurred, the mysterious door remained firmly shut. Despite their best efforts in the face of this setback, our heroes were unable to reach Mesa Island in time, and the Dweller of Strife turned into a World Eater. They fought ever so bravely, but in the end their lives and their world were lost. Thus we arrive at the crux of tonight's musings, a single question. How far might they go should fate be given a nudge, and the door that once sat closed were to be opened? Let us find out. Come in. What is this place? Smells musty. Good evening, and welcome to the Great Archives. Please excuse the mess. I tend to get absorbed in my work. Wait, are you really? Titles are for stories and myths. Please call me Rashan. Rashan? That's even cooler than extol! Wait, so you're the Immortal Alchemist? I suppose so. Unreal! Alchemist, sir, we... Please, call me Rashan. Rashan, this is really unexpected. Yeah, can't you just fix all of this then? Unfortunately, no. I am bound by a very strict code. There are no words to express the suffering that would ensue were I to take matters into my own hands. Worse than a dweller turning into a world eater? Not to minimize, but you must understand that in the grand scheme of things, your reality is simply one of many. By fixing your realm, I would unleash Aferal's wrath on countless others. That is unacceptable. Who's Aferal? My former associate. Where your people call me the Immortal Alchemist, they refer to Aferal as the Fleshmancer. Is he hiding somewhere here too? Your world is safe, at least in this regard. Aferal left a long time ago. Should he learn of my presence here, however, we'd take him on. He's nothing but a loser. Now, it appears time is of the essence. We need to get onto Mesa Island. Can you help? I might, but first we must determine whether or not you can help yourselves. We know how to fight. Of course you do, but this matter is about whether you truly are who I am hoping you are. For now, I would send you to a remote location where, encased in the ice, lies a long-lost artifact. What kind of artifact? I will say no more at this time. If letting you in here was the proper course of action, its power will call to you. This portal leads to where it went forgotten. Recover the artifact, then I shall entertain this plan of yours. We've gone from the bottom of the sea to the top of a mountain, and we find ourselves in Glacial Peak. Let's start by running over toward the right side, and you can use the rock wall to climb around, and then use the grapplu to shoot across the big gap. There is a save point right here if you want to use it. Otherwise, we will continue on toward the left side, following the path out the left. Proceed up the path and then use the tightrope to go across the gap over toward the left side. Then you can head down and out the bottom left corner. Here we have a new enemy. It's called the Rush Across Deer, and these guys are just little snowballs that like to roll their way toward us. They're pretty easy to take out, so don't worry too much about them. They will either just do a normal roll and then jump and land on you, or they will, if they're allowed to charge up, but do a much larger roll at you. So just take them out with your normal attacks. It only takes a couple turns to take these guys down, and then we can proceed on. This is only one of two enemies that we'll find in this whole place, so get used to seeing these guys. It also means that we'll be skipping a lot of fights going forward. Okay, let's go over toward the left side, and you can hop across the gaps in the bridge. When you get to the left side, you can push the big block of ice down and over toward the right and then up. That will allow you to climb up to this place with a treasure chest for us. Let's go ahead and grab that, and it's music sheet number 5. Then head down, and toward the left side you can stand on the purple diamond and then adjust the sun to melt the giant block of ice. That gives us a pathway up the rock wall and over toward the right side. Then we just have to go across the tightrope to the middle part and then across the tightrope down into the right side of the area. Now let's hop up the little cliffs. If you go all the way up, there's a campfire waiting for you on the left side, so feel free to use that if you want to heal up. Otherwise, we're going to go down toward the right side. Here's a couple more of those enemies and a new one that we haven't fought before, whose name is a Boulder Douche. Yes, I said that correctly. He's actually a pretty dangerous enemy, as if you let him use his charge attack, he's going to do over 100 damage to one character, which will probably kill them. So what you want to do is definitely break that skill from being used, and then he'll just use another normal attack that he can send out little ice chunks to all party members at once, and does significantly less damage. So I would definitely say focus on eliminating that enemy first, or at least breaking the skills, and then just go through and eliminate the other enemies as usual. He does have a lot of HP, so it will take quite some time to eliminate him. And here you can see the other larger snowball crash attack from the other enemies. So just go through the fight, and it shouldn't be too hard to take these guys out. It's just kind of a long fight because of the high HP total from them. Don't forget that there is a campfire over to the left side if you want to use that. Otherwise, just go over toward the right side. You can see that there's a big slide puzzle thing. We'll get to this all later on. For right now, we're just going to go over toward the right side of the area, and then you can push the block down and then over toward the left and then up. That allows you to get up to the top part of this area. So go up here, you can see a couple enemies that we fought before, so we're just going to skip through this fight really quickly and then proceed on. After that fight, head up the rock wall, and then there's another special fight up ahead here. You can't start it with a grapploo, instead you get a little scene when you walk into them. These are enemies that we've seen before, but the music, as you can hear, has changed, and we get special music just for this fight, as they're having a little bit of a party up here that we interrupted. Now they want to fight us for it. So I'm just going to let this one play out, even though we've seen these enemies before, so you can hear the music, and then once we get through it a little bit, I'll just cut it off and we'll proceed on. There you go, kind of an interesting thing. There is a treasure chest underneath the ice. We will get to that in a little bit. Let's shimmy across the path to the left and then jump across the barriers. Sarah E falls to her death. Don't worry about that because she can respawn and come up right behind us again. And we can follow the path along here, jumping over the pathway, and that will lead us up into another fight with some familiar enemies. There's a bunch of stuff under the ice, and you might wonder, how do we get there? Well, the answer is just above us. If we climb up the rock wall and then go over toward the right side, we can go behind the big ice pillar and then hop down on the right side. That will take us down underneath the ice. So now we can proceed over toward the left. We do get ambushed by a couple of those same snowball enemies. Let's take them out and then proceed on. Make sure you rest at the campsite and then use the save point. We've got a boss fight just ahead of us. When you're ready, head up under the ice pillar. You can grapple across the gap and then run up for a little cutscene. However you did it, you are foolish for showing up here. Foolish and cornered too. Your friends already tried acting tough. Didn't you get their report? My, they truly are feisty. Feisty and arrogant too. Come then. Here we have a battle against 2 and 4. 2 is the magician up top with the very hard to break skill, and we probably won't be able to do that one, so just do your best to weaken it as best as possible. And he also is able to heal up his partner, so he's definitely our priority for taking out the magician first. And then we'll go on to number 4, who is the big guy on the left, and he really only has a giant slam attack that he can do against one party member, so it's pretty easy of a fight once you get rid of the magician and then focus on the big guy after that. So I'll just kind of let it play out and you'll see how it goes, and I will see you at the end of it. Once 2 is defeated, number 4 is very easy to beat. All he has is a slam attack that is pretty easy to block, and they can't do their combined attack anymore. So just heal when necessary, otherwise focus all of your efforts onto 4, and the battle will be over in just a moment. You got lucky. Next time we will win. Win and celebrate too. And don't come back. We're close. I can feel it. Let's do this. Let's keep following the path toward the left and then use the rock wall to climb over further toward the left and then go into the little cave over here. Now we can hop up the ledges and climb all the way toward the top. Then we can shimmy across toward the left side and go out the left side of the room. Okay, as you go up, grapple over to the rock wall, and then you can climb around and down to hop onto the path. Follow that around, and then shimmy across, climb up, and follow the path around until you can get to the end, then hop down and over toward the top part here, then just run all the way up for a cutscene. Got Solstice Amulet. So much energy. It's the same kind of power as... How do we get out of here? This block could be melted, but the Celestial Rune is busted. You can now control the time of day with R2 and L2 without needing to stand on a Celestial Rune. Whoa, so you can just do this at will now? The amulet's resonance with our magic is really strong. We got what we needed. Let's go back to Rashan. Well, follow the path down, and you can use the different little pillars here to adjust the light at your will and melt the blocks and break the large black rocks in our way. Once that's done, proceed down. You can break these rocks as well. Inside one of them is something that we need. So let's flip the switch that will raise up this crystal, and now we can use that to melt the block of ice at the bottom. Let's keep going down. And now if you go down toward the right side, you can follow the path around and hop down with the grapple and keep proceeding down. We're now under the ice, so let's go ahead and use the campfire. And if we go all the way to the bottom part here, we can now use the prism to melt the ice block on this side, and then push the whole pedestal down and toward the right to follow the path around until you get to the very end, and then just push it straight off the ledge. If you hop down, you can now push the pedestal toward the left side, and then you can use your power to move the light over and break the black rocks down here. This will allow us to run up and grab the treasure chest underneath here. That's a Signet of Clarity. You can equip that if you want to. What it does is whoever equips it, all of their skills cost 1 less MP, so it's good for people like Sarai. Well, let's go ahead and continue down the path. You can hop down the ledges here. And now if you go over toward the left side, you can push the block around and down. What we want to do is use our power to charge up the 2 runes on the right and the left side. So you want to do the right side first, go ahead and fill that one all the way up, and then move it over toward the left side and charge up the left one. And you'll have enough time to do that. And what that does is it allows us to push this pedestal around, and therefore we can move the light where we need it to go. So let's move it over toward the right first, then we can melt this big black rock, and then push that block all the way over so that we can turn the light to face it, and that will melt this ice block, allowing us to grab the treasure chest with a sapphire ore inside. Push the light pedestal to the left and then up. That will allow you to break the big black rock on the left side. Now you can push the light pedestal over toward the right to break the big black rock on that side. Push the light pedestal over toward the side. It looks like you should be able to melt this ice block at the top. However, you do have to push it toward the right and down to get it into position. So then turn the light to melt this. When the ice block melts, you get a scroll for a new combo skill for Garl and Sarai called Item Roulette. Now let's push the light pedestal down and toward the left, and if you move it around, you can eventually get it all the way up to the top part, and that will allow you to melt the big ice block over here, and that opens up a path to this ladder going down. So now let's go down the ladder, and when you get to the bottom, you'll want to grapple over toward the left side, and that will take you into a cave on the left. If you keep hopping around, you'll run outside, and you can open up this treasure chest for another rainbow conch. Now let's go back the way that we came, and when you get over toward the right side, then go ahead, grapple back across, and then kick the ladder down. You can now go down here and out the bottom right side. We're back to where the save point is at the very beginning of the Glacial Peak. Let's grapple over toward the right and down into the portal to return to where Rashan is. You have returned. Congratulations. Will you help us get to Mesa Island now? You were just there a few moments ago. Is this the way then? We just go back and hike down the mountain? Hiking Glacial Peak on foot? Only an animal would do that. Will you accept one final challenge? If you succeed, I promise I will help. We're in a hurry. You said... I know. Hear me out. The only way to remove the barrier is to wake the giant stone head. I can make the potion for you, but brewing it requires centuries of maceration. Centuries? That's useless! That is why I need you to recover my personal alchemy bottle, the Vial of Time. Within it, I can control time itself. Bring it back to me, and I will prepare what you need in mere seconds. No way! Alright, where can we find your Vial of Time? Aphral hid it somewhere on Watcher Island a long time ago. All I know for certain is that the giant statue from which the island got its name is the key. How can you be sure? Aphral's tricks always involve big statues. Eventually, I figured he would have to stop if I ever recovered my vial, but here we are in need of it. This is ridiculous. Call it what you will, but I recommend you take this task seriously, for it will be very trying. Sure, whatever. We're ready. Then go to the northern part of Watcher Island and perform the cleansing of Torment Peak. Cleansing? There's a dweller here? Of course. It may be just a prank, but Aphral played it himself. But without their powers augmented by... Yes? That's what the Solstice Amulet is really for, isn't it? Precisely. It may be old, but its magic has yet to fade. Face the Dweller of Torment with conviction, and the amulet will resonate. The power to conjure an eclipse. Alright, we can do this. Torment Peak afflicts the mind in devilish ways, but you deserve a fighting chance. Here. Go on, drink. What is it? 1 dose of tethered mind potion for each of you. Come on now, bottoms up. I don't feel any different. And thanks to this potion, you will be able to say the same after spending time in that wicked place. I thought you couldn't help directly. It is but a little nudge. Surely this can stay between us. Thanks, Roshan. We'll be back with the Vial of Time. Feel free to use this portal for quick travel between here and Lake Dokaria. I will be watching. Good luck. Let's use the portal on the left to quickly teleport ourselves back to Dokari Village. To be a little more accurate, it actually sends us to Lake Dokaria. Now we can hop in the water and swim over toward the left side and up, and we can get back onto the land and run around past where we talked to the guy and got our seashell, and then we can go all the way out the top right corner. Roshan told us that we need to go to Torment Peak, which we can do by going straight up the path toward the north. We're going to do that in the next video, however, so I'm just going to set up camp right now and take a break. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video, and also hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with the rest of the series. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in the next one. Have a good day.